Hi, friends. Thanks for joining us. Smash that subscribe button. It helps the channel grow. It helps us get the word out. Benny, where can they find us on social media?
Yeah, check us out. Ray Benny Sports. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Also, check us out on Discord and Reddit, and leave us a rating on your favorite podcast provider.
We got Blue Bomber Talk. We got CFL Talk. We got some Winnipeg Jets Talk brought to you by Fahrenheit Airbrushing. And we got some NHL Talk. Did I say that already?
You might have.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm distracted. I was just watching you. You were talking, and I had this shit-eating grin on my face for some reason. And I just got distracted by that. So let's get on with the show. That's ridiculous. Blue Bomber Talk. Oh, first of all, fact check from last week. We're like, yo, who was the OC? Who was the DC when Mike O'Shea came to town? Marcel Belfoy was the offensive coordinator. Gary Echeverry was the defensive coordinator. Echeverry was let go after one season. Thank God. Richie Hall was brought in. And Belfoy, they gave another chance to, and well, he can cut it. So
a couple years only for him, right? Then Lapo came in.
Do you remember who Marcel Belfoy took over from?
No.
Gary Crowton.
Oh my God. That name. I hadn't heard that name in a long time.
It's like Obi-Wan. That's a name I've not heard in a long time.
Yeah. Holy.
A long time. Any which way, let's move on to Bomber Talk before we get into the depths of depression of the thin days. It's fun to look back, though.
It is.
It's fun.
It's always good to see where it started and where it got to, right?
It keeps you humble.
Yes.
Because you know it could happen again.
It's better, to look at those days and where we are now than look back at the Joe Mack days and where that ended up, right? So
you said his name.
Yeah. Because we were talking about him earlier. He's stuck in my head right now.
It's funny. It's like you've seen the success of the Bombers for the past 2, 3, 4 years. And at the same time, we could be at the beginning of a new 30-year drought. You never know.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Now you said it.
What? I'm just what were talking about? Being humble. Like the Iron Sheik. I'll make you humble. Put you in the camel clutch and make you humble. Any which way, let's go. Blue Bombers on the bubble. We know Kyle Walters will have some tough decisions to make. Who are some or one of those players that he'll have to make a hard decision on?
Yeah, he's got hard decisions everywhere. I'm looking kind of at the O-line. It all depends what Hardrick and Stanley Bryan are doing. If they're back, they're probably back with the Bombers. They're probably not going anywhere else, right? So now you got to look at that guard position where you had Jeff Gray, Pat Neufeld, you have Dobson and Eli there as well. Yeah. You're probably going to have to let you probably can't sign Neufeld and Gray unless they're coming in well underpriced kind of thing, right? So they're going to have to make a decision there on who they're going to keep. Are you going to keep the veteran guy in Neufeld, or are you going to go with the younger guy in Gray and then let Dobson play the other guard position? So very important, that O-line. It's obviously been very good for the Bombers the last few years in terms of protection and opening holes for Harris and Oliveira. So big decision for him to make there.
Yeah, I was raving about Kolinkowski and how they have to sign him. And I was watching a episode of the Kelsey brothers, and they're like, what is the easiest position on the O-line to cover up the weakness? And both of them said center.
Wow.
So who knows? Personally, I obviously think Kolinkowski, he's great for that O-line. He has a grit to him. He has a veteran presence. He's 31 again?
Yeah.
Shoot. So yeah, who knows, man? But yeah, O-line is tough.
Who played O-line or who played center this year? Wasn't Kolinkowski out for a game?
Was he out for
injured
a game?
At some point?
I can't remember if he was.
I thought someone else came in to play center for a bit or something. Maybe I'm wrong, thinking about something else. But
yeah, I can't remember him being hurt, but maybe. Okay. Google knows. I could probably go for linebacker depth is one of those you have to make a hard decision on. Big Hill is coming back, middle linebacker depth. But Malik Clements is going as a free agent. Shane Gauthier is going as a free agent, and Brian Cole is going as a free agent. And I've said multiple times in the past month, maybe, how much I think Brian Cole is a game changer and a playmaker. So I hope they sign him. But Shane Gauthier is a Canadian who we know can come in there and play solid at middle linebacker when he gets the reps. And Malik Clements, he's great at middle and on the wing, like I'm talking about hockey here, but on the outside linebacker. So that's going to be a tough decision to make depth wise for linebacker and who's signing.
Yeah, and Malik Clements looked pretty good for most parts this year when he played. It's Kyrie Wilson also a free agent right now?
Oh my goodness. I don't think
I have
so, but
this here. No,
maybe.
he's still good. So he's
Yeah.
not a free agent. But yeah, you got a lot there. Cole, Gauthier, Briggs. But I mean, Briggs is mainly more special teams, whatever, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, good God.
Who else you
There's a
got?
lot.
You got it.
I mean, you got Dalton Schoen as well, right? Can you squeeze that guy in with Lawler's and Dembski's contract? Right. Plus, you still have Wolotarski and Bailey to make decisions on. But Dalton Schoen, I mean, he could make as much as Kenny Lawler here, right? And if Kenny Lawler's mid
Yes.
250s, somewhere around there, it's going to be hard to pay two guys around that range. So you're not going to, you have to make a decision. Either you're going to go sign Dalton Schoen and get rid of Lawler, or the other way around, right? So
Yeah. And I think my next concern or wonder or whatever might fit into yours with the defensive backs, specifically Winston Rose.
yeah,
He's a vet, but he's been dealing with injuries and a bit of inconsistent play, maybe due to injury and due to not getting that playing time and being on the field all the time. He's clearly a team guy. He was a key piece for the past few years in that secondary. And it's always weird seeing guys like that go. Like with Swaggerville, we saw Suber, we saw Kelly Malvo, we saw Javon Johnson all leave and wear different uniforms, but you got to cut ties sometime. So I think that's going to be a tough decision for Kyle Walters there.
Yeah, because you basically only have Evan Holm signed in the DB
Thank
department,
goodness.
right? Yeah,
Thank
exactly.
goodness.
Because I thought he was a free agent too until I looked today. I'm like, that's awesome that he isn't.
Yeah.
Demario Houston, 7 interceptions. He's going to be looking for a good pay bump. Dietrich Nichols, very underrated. You don't hear his name a lot because no one's throwing to him, right? You got to figure that out. Again, Brandon Alexander, like the whole list. I could see Rose going. Rose probably doesn't like the way things ended off and him not playing. But yeah, Jamal Parker and Evan Holm are the only DBs you have basically signed. So,
which is good. Those two halfbacks are good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Like I think that and again, in regards to talking about keeping Schoen, I think you might have to sacrifice Houston because he is due for some big money.
Yeah.
And I think the assistant GMs and whoever's head of scouting in the States has proven that they can find those DBs.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to overpay. Yeah. I think they've proven that they're able to find those DBs. So maybe Alexander's a priority. And yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
See what they can find. See what they can find. Some gems.
I don't envy Walters in all this.
Oh my goodness. Anyone else come on the list there?
Again, I mean, it all depends on some of these guys coming back or not, if they're retiring or not, right? With Jeff Coates and all that stuff, because that D line is obviously very thin right now too. So yeah, other than that, and then you got Brady Oliveira. Again, if you're going to pay Dalton Schoen 200, 250,
yeah,
you can easily pay Oliveira that as well, right? So
I don't think that's a tough decision. You pay Oliveira top dollar.
Yeah. But then you got to decide.
He's that kind of weapon.
Is it Dalton Schoen or Oliveira?
Oh, they're both staying. When you figure out a way to pay both of them, yeah you can. You got to figure out a way to pay both of them. I'm actually more concerned with Johnny Augustine than I am losing Brady Oliveira. Like he's at the point where his passport, he has to make a certain minimum that compensates him to his skill level as a Canadian. And I don't know if the Bombers can keep, and he's a great backup. And I think he actually has the opportunity to maybe be a more significant backup in somewhere like Toronto with Andrew Harris leaving, or maybe even being a bigger role like in Hamilton or BC as a reliever. So I'm more concerned about losing Johnny Augustine, Brady Oliveira at this point.
Yeah, I mean, if Oliveira goes for some reason, then yeah, you keep Augustine. But yeah, you can't pay Augustine probably as much as you, because they both ended up getting kind of the same contract, 80 to 90,000, right? Or something
they definitely won't be in the same pay scale. No,
you're gonna have to bring someone else in, a younger guy or some guy who's been around a bit. That won't take as much for sure.
We see Montreal and Winnipeg sign some major pieces already with Willie Jefferson and Sean Lemon and Daryl Sankey, and they just signed Mustafa Johnson.
Yeah,
and Fajardo. We'll talk about Fajardo in a bit. What players on each team's list aren't going anywhere?
Go back to the O-line for the Bombers, and I don't think Bryant, Hardrick, or even Neufeld. We'll see it with Neufeld, but I think those first two for sure aren't going anywhere. They're either probably coming back to the Bombers or retiring. Then you got Jackson Jeffcoat and even Jake Thomas on the D-line. I think those guys are sticking around. or retiring kind of thing, because they got something good in Winnipeg. They're a bit on the older side too. It's like, why go start somewhere else when I know what's going on? Winnipeg, who's returning every coach that we've had for the last 4 or 5 years. So
Yeah,
I can see those guys definitely coming back or retiring. They're not going anywhere else.
Yeah, we know Brady Oliveira is a priority in Winnipeg. Without a doubt, he's a must. Montreal's kind of signed their musts.
Yeah, except for Beverett, basically.
So I think like in BC, they got to sign Betts.
Yeah.
That's who I have in BC. I don't know who you have in BC, but I think BC, they got to sign Betts. Even though I wouldn't sign him in Winnipeg, he's a cornerstone of what they're building on the BC defense.
Yeah, Betts would be my guy there for BC as well.
Who do you got for Edmonton?
1 second here. I closed something down by accident. Who do you got?
That, brother? Edmonton was so hard because they have a lot of green people on there, but I think you got to keep Emmanuel Arsenault. You need that veteran presence on the receiving corps, especially if you're going all in with Trey Ford.
Yeah, well, hopefully they actually go in all in with Trey Ford, right?
Oh, they'll find a way to goof that up again, eh?
Yeah. For me, I don't know. I'd probably go. So many. It's hard here. AC Leonard for me had a very good season for the Elks last year, and he was a disruptor. And he got the Bombers pretty good too. So I like his jam on defense there. And again, he's one of those guys like Sean Lemon that will bring it every time and be a vocal guy. So I think you might have to go that way.
Yeah, that's true. How did I leave that guy off any which way? With Calgary, I'm gonna go. I really like Dedrick Mills as a running back. Man, he showed Bomber fans how good of a running back he could be. Yeah. But I really like that Canadian receiver. I'm gonna mess up his name. I'm gonna try not to. Luther Haku Navanu. I didn't do it. I got it right. I think he's the next good, not in the CFL, but in regards to Calgary, he's the next good Canadian receiver that you need to keep on your roster for years. He's their Nick Dembski, I think.
Yeah, and he's just getting going. He's a few injuries fighting here and there, but yeah, he's been definitely very good. And like you say, it's the CFL. You need your Canadian talent. For Calgary, Rene Paredes.
That's true.
You can't let him go because I know they got a lot of other guys here, but he has been their best player really consistently over the last a little bit. Yeah. And he was big for them last year, and the guy is the CFL leader basically, right? So I know it's not a flashy one, but and then Kadeem Carey as well. He's another free agent as well. So yeah,
I saw Kadeem Carey, and that's why I was like Dedrick Mills, maybe.
Yeah, you definitely got to keep one of those guys. Yeah, it's a toss up there, but yeah, Kadeem Carey fought some injuries this year, so maybe you move on because he's gonna obviously cost more, right?
Yeah, I think so. It's true, and he's not Canadian.
No, yeah. Very true.
For Saskatchewan, I was like, we had Coach Phil on a couple weeks ago. Check out that interview. That was a fun time. We had Coach Phil, beers and cigars and bros. It was a good time. And he loves his Sean Bain Jr.
Yeah.
But I'm saying you got to go for Mario Alford. When you have a guy like that who can flip the field consistently, you got to. That's one special team player that you that you have to prioritize over almost any other player.
Yep. Yeah, he's a good one for sure too. I think I'd have to go with Coach Phil here. I'm going to go with Sean Bain. Sorry. Yeah, he just had a wicked season last year. And you're going to need these guys. Even Tevin Jones, another wide receiver who had a very good year there, is also a free agent as well. And you're going to need these guys for the new regime and Trevor Harris when he comes back. So, man, I guess some tough decisions there. And all these guys are going to need to get paid, right? Because they all went over 1,000 yards here for receiving yards. So, and Larry Dean's also a freaking free agent. Ooh, just noticing some of these guys. There's a lot of good players. Like a team, if they get it right, like say Ottawa, they could flip their whole franchise around if they get these right. We know free agent signings don't usually work out well for teams, especially a lot of them. Who was it last year that went crazy? Or
Ottawa?
Ottawa, yeah, 2 years in a row now, right? And we thought every time is going to be a change, and it hasn't worked. So
I bought in, and they didn't do it at all.
No, I have two for 2 years.
Oh my goodness. Hamilton, they just signed their safety. Talk about names. Stavros.
Yep.
Katsantonis.
No.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, Katsutonis, I know.
Katsutonis, you got it. They signed him. So this is a hard one for me at Hamilton. They have so many vets. And I couldn't really tell from last season, and I couldn't put Mark Leggio on that list, that's for sure. And I don't know about Smorley Lawrence, so I have to go with the O-line and Brandon Revenberg.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that too. Yeah, just looking through that.
Like, fix your camera.
Oh,
it's blurry.
Yeah,
technical difficulties. Any 5, 4, 3.
Yeah,
we're back. Beat it. So Hamilton, yeah, Brandon Revenberg must be. With the Toronto Argonauts. I don't know, man. Like, I really like Javon Leake.
Yeah.
Again, I'm a special teams person when it comes to these free agents. You just don't find these guys on the street, at least from maybe that's a Winnipeg Blue Bomber thing. Maybe it's just not having
we've never had any.
I mean, it's like, you got to sign him. You have to. I'm surprised they didn't say Janarian Grant already. Yeah. But Winton McManus, I think. Yeah, I just really like the defense. He's just a force.
Yeah, very good year for him. I'm just taking a look at this list, and I don't think I can dispute that, man. He was their best player on D, or one of their best players on D.
Yeah, and we know Andrew Harris ain't going to play again.
No. So, yeah, I would agree with you on that. A lot of kickers free agents as well here. Boris Beatty as well.
And a lot of them aren't going to move, I don't think.
No, they'll stick around.
DeMonte Coxey's a free agent.
Yeah.
Bombers might be able to find some, Do you think Kelly Lawler, I'm going to be straight up honest with you as a Bomber fan, and because I've had a little bit of beer, do you think Kenny Lawler is worth the contract that he has going into next year? I know talent-wise he is, but scheme-wise in the Bombers, if they have shown, like, I don't know, I'm just saying. He's definitely worth individually as a player 250 what he's making, but in regards to the Bombers scheme of thing with the depth that they have, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like things fell apart more when Dalton Schoen was not playing. He was always that security blanket for Claros. Like when Claros was scrambling, Schoen was getting open. And you can't dispute Kenny Lawler is a very good wide receiver, one of the best out there, right?
Yeah.
But to me, I'd almost maybe take Schoen over Lawler as well, kind of thing.
Maybe that's the question. That's the question. Who would you rather have, Schoen, Lawler? And that's a tough one because Lawler's great. He was here for that championship before, and he's a solid receiver. But at the same time, he had time off because of that suspension.
Yeah. And he still put up some pretty good numbers. I don't think he got to 1,000, but he definitely would have broke 1,000 if he wasn't off. So
he put a 200-yard game up.
Yeah. Yeah. When he's on, he's very good. I just like Schoen just knew where to go when Claros was in trouble.
Him and Claros have something special.
Yeah.
The both of them together. Ay. Let's move on to Ottawa and our boy Bobby Dice. I'm almost like I'm not saying this to disparage their players, but they almost got to start from scratch here.
Again?
Yeah. Like, if anyone, obviously Malden has to be the priority in my books. He's Defensive Player of the Year 2 years ago.
Yeah.
He's almost as effective as Willie Jefferson in regards to disrupting the offense. So Malden's going to be my dude.
You know what? I can't even dispute that. Looking at the rest of this list, there's definitely a lot of guys they can get rid of that they don't need. Malden's got to be it for sure.
He's definitely the best player on that team.
Yeah. Well, besides what's his name? Ward? Lewis Ward?
Yes. But he signed already. He's not a free agent, so it's fine.
No.
Oh, who's their quarterback next year? Poor Bobby Dice.
Drew Brown.
I know, poor Drew Brown.
I think we got all the line, right? They had Desjardins there and all that. The O-line should be good, right?
Their D-line is good.
Yeah.
They had no quarterback.
They showed flashes last year. They just Bobby Dice has got to get rid of the mistakes. The players got to get rid of the mistakes because they shot themselves in the foot a lot last year. And they were close games. Like they weren't getting blown out in a lot of these games. So it's there. The opportunity's there. They just got to put it all together or put somewhat together.
Yeah, we'll see if this offensive coordinator knows what's
Tommy
going on.
Condell.
Man, they should have given Ken Jeffries a chance from Saskatchewan. I think he's a solid offensive coordinator.
He did okay.
Screwed having a bad quarterback.
Yeah, Trevor Harris getting hurt definitely did not help.
Yeah, I'm not buying into Dolagala. I'm sorry.
He's a free agent.
Okay. He'll be a backup somewhere. I'm sorry. Not to be rude. That's all the teams. because Montreal and Winnipeg has covered. And like I said, they got to sign Anshui. I always say that name wrong. Jeshrun Antwi in Montreal, that running back. I love that dude.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Do you think Cody Fajardo will be a top 3 QB in the league?
No. I still think you got Zach Laros, you got Chad Kelly. Vernon Adams was obviously better than him. Then you got Trevor Harris and Trey Ford coming back. So, I mean, I would think Kalaros, Kelly, and Vernon Adams for sure ahead of Fajardo. Then maybe he falls into that mix with Trevor Harris and Trey Ford to see who's kind of better there. Jake Meyer to me is not there. Ottawa, we said, don't have anybody. Who knows what's happening in Hamilton? So I'm going to say no for Fajardo in the top 3.
I'm going to go yes. No doubt about it. I think having won a championship, going in with confidence, and knowing that he is supported by the city, the team, and the fans will just change his career. Like, we've seen quarterbacks in the CFL, in Winnipeg, we just seen Zach Collaros do it. Come out of tough times. Zach Collaros was injury, though. But come out of tough times and just rejuvenate their career. And I think he is in the perfect position to do that in Montreal. I think they're bringing almost a whole team back, like Winnipeg did when they started making their run. And I think he'll definitely be better than he was last year. So I'm going to say yes, he will be a top 3 quarterback because I think Vernon Adams will take, if I look at his history, I think he's on his, I don't think he'll have as good as years last year.
The one thing with Fajardo is they don't need him to be a top 3 quarterback, especially with that D. If they're bringing all these guys back and they hit, or play as well as they did to finish this season, then they just need him to limit mistakes and get the job done, kind of thing. And if they can fix his old line, maybe he'll be a lot better if they fix the guard position, especially there. So, I mean, there's a possibility for sure. Anything could happen. And you never know, Chad Kelly. Maybe Chad Kelly goes the opposite way after that last game he had, right?
Oh,
maybe he has a hangover next year and is not the same after that. And, we'll see. But going back to it, I think Fajardo is a fine quarterback, and I think he did very well in Montreal by the end of the season. So I don't think they have anything to be worried about, because there was at some point this season where even Caleb Evans came in and played a couple games and Montreal won, right? Yeah. And thinking, okay, maybe he should be taken over. So, but Fajardo had a good season for sure.
We'll see. And he had a good Grey Cup.
Oh, yeah, very good Grey Cup, for Pete's sake.
Someone's not over it.
No. Good God, man. I still hang on to 2001 and 92, 93. Yeah, I'm just...
Okay. Well, let's talk about the USFL and XFL then. What are the effects on professional football in the CFL, do you think, of this league merger?
I think it's better for the CFL, obviously, because they're down from 16 teams in both these leagues to only 8 teams. So now you still got guys looking for places to play. The only problem is I think they're starting in March, right? So I'm not sure when that's going to end. So that would be the only issue, because then you had guys like Darnell Sankey last year who played in the USFL, right? And then signed with the CFL late. I mean, it could happen again here, kind of thing. But to me, it was a good sign that he re-signed already in Montreal, Sankey, because he was down there. He played there, right?
Yep.
And he probably had the option to probably go back down there. But he's like, you know what? Good things in the CFL. I can get paid here. I can finish my career here and not have to worry about a league going under halfway through a season and not getting paid again, right? So I think it's better.
That's a huge thing.
So,
that's a huge thing that players are going to be looking at for the first couple of years of this league, is its ability to survive.
Yeah,
like the CFL is proven, no matter what trouble they've been in, they have survived.
Yeah, big time.
They've canceled a season and they still survived. So at least they have that longevity as well. And more access to more access, just more players.
Yeah. And you got guys coming back, like McLeod Bethel Thompson wants to come back to the CFL, right?
Yeah.
After leaving and saying he was done with the CFL. Dakota Prukop came back. And we'll see. Maybe he'll stick around. He's also another free agent. So maybe he gets an opportunity somewhere to go compete as well. Who knows? So it's good for the CFL. The CFL keeps living while these other leagues keep coming and going, right? So they're established enough. Yeah.
This mofo won't die. Let's move on to some Winnipeg Jets talk brought to you, us, me, everyone by Fahrenheit Airbrushing. Stand out on the ice pavement, or the field with a custom airbrushed helmet or goalie mask or any kind of product, a local Manitoba business with affordable solutions for any product. Check out Fahrenheit Airbrushings on Facebook or call them at 204-891-7431. Tell them Ray and Benny sent you. Memorize that son of a gun. Let's talk about the Jets review on Anaheim. Thoughts on that game?
A little bit too close for comfort in that one. Obviously, the biggest thing coming out of the game, not only that the Jets came back from a 2-0 deficit to win 4-2, it's the injury to Kyle Connor with the knee-on-knee collision with Ryan Strome, who is not going to face any more discipline on that hit. He did get the 5-minuter. The unfortunate thing is, though, Scheifele took a 5-minuter as well in the fight, right? So he was gone for that. So power play was terrible. 0 for 5 again.
Strome's knee was set, by the way.
Yeah. I mean,
Strome's knee was set.
Yeah. I mean, you could definitely move your knee at some point.
Yes. Do you believe this stupidity? Was his foot set in cement?
Yeah. It couldn't move. It was once your skate gets in the rut, you can't move it.
Unbelievable. It's like this guy is not a child learning to skate on the ice. He's been doing this for his whole life, pretty much. You telling me he can't see where this player is going after the shot's already gone?
Oh, yeah.
Like, player safety in the NHL is a joke.
It is, and it's also these players, though. Why are you doing that? Like, all these guys, even who got hit from behind there on the weekend? Gubertson? I didn't say that right.
Oh, my God.
We got hit into the boards there, and he had to take matters into his whole own hands and pummel Cousins or whatever it was, right?
Yeah, he whooped his ass.
Yeah, and it's the same situation here. Again, Scheifele had to go after Strome. I know Strome was getting the 5-minute major or whatever, but
still,
again, it's like stuff like this. The players, man, what are you guys doing to each other out there? Yeah, there's no need. And for the NHL, if this was McDavid or freaking Matthews that got hit like this, they'd be losing their minds over it, because now you're taking a star player out of it. But it's Kyle Connor, man. The guy's got 17 goals. He's a star in your league. He needs to be protected as well and not have this bullshit happen to him. Now he's out. Who knows how long? We don't know yet.
But we only have 15,000 seats in the arena. That's why the NHL doesn't give a F.
Yeah. It's terrible.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, no disciplinary action on that? Not even a fine?
Not even a fine, exactly. Yeah. Not even a hearing, not even a talking to, nothing. No fine. You served your 5 minutes in a game and that's it.
Like, this weekend was crazy. Did you see that Larkin-Perron thing with Detroit?
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Like, that was crazy. Like, I don't know. This guy tried to clear him from the net. I think it was an unfortunate incident with a knockdown, but Perron going after this guy with a cross check to the head. What is that? What's going on in this league?
Well, that's the thing, that they're not getting taken care of in terms of suspension. So these guys are going after each other, right? And
well, at least fight. Put the gloves down and fight like Scheifele did.
Well, I mean, you can take it. Even Gubertson there went after Cousins, right? Yeah. And really didn't let Cousins fight him. But I get that one. It was more of an anger. He did try to fight Cousins right after the hit. Right, and it happened, and then other guys jumped in, so he didn't get that opportunity. But I guess he was just like, screw it, I'm taking this guy out, and that's it.
Yeah, like come back, and obviously power play, we'll talk about that in a second. Screwy aside, it's good that they came back and won the game. You're about to mention the power play. Go ahead about this power play.
Why? What is going on? Like, the power play was not bad last year. It was good, and so what's happening this year? And you got a lot of firepower there, but like we were talking about, there's no movement. There's not drawing anyone out of position where you get a clear shot. It's hanging on to the puck, then passing it to that guy, getting the puck back to Morrissey and going that way. And it's just, there's nothing going on, not enough movement, not enough quickness to open things up. And it is getting to the point where it's almost embarrassing. It's not the worst in the league, but it's bad.
I was watching this Anaheim feed yesterday, and they were singing the praises of their penalty kill. Their penalty kill was just standing there. Let's be honest. The Jets were trying to get that perfect shot in the slot. And yes, I got a bit of heat of this online. Yes, I understand Scheifele and Connor are out, but that does not mean you don't take the shot when you have an open lane to take the shot. Put the shot on net if they're not giving you the slot, because every damn team in the NHL is looking for the Jets to pass the puck across the slot for that shot.
Yeah.
So why not just put the puck on the net? Let's look for Niederreiter to put his ass in front of the goalie and get a dirty one, just like Anaheim did after the Jets major was done. It just frustrates me. And yes, they won. I appreciate that, but I'm just saying.
But you got to think of how much better they would be if this power play was chipping in a goal or here and there, right?
Yes.
Like you got a 5-minute power play, you wouldn't have to score 4 in the third, one empty netter to come back and win this game if you score earlier, right? And then it gives you obviously momentum scoring a goal. Even the Anaheim one, the guy was left alone in front of the net to bang away at it 3 freaking times. Like Hellebuyck made 2 at least saves there. And the guy just had the opportunity. It's like, what's going on here? But
jeez. Speaking of Hellebuyck, he had a crazy third.
Yeah.
He kept the Jets, not just the third, he kept the Jets in it the whole game, but the third, he stood on his head in a couple of those. He was like an aggressive goalie. There's one time where a Ducks player skated right in front of his crease in a rebound, and he just went out for the puck, and it was great to see him. He looks like he's in Vezina form.
He's feeling it right now. He's on a pretty good tear. Hellebuyck. It's good to see because we saw him earlier in the season. We were kind of worried, but he's turned it around. And then yes, the Jets gave up some good opportunities, but for the most part, they kept things, within a distance, close to the blue line, out to the outer edges. Even though Anaheim was close to 30 shots, defensively, the Jets actually played pretty well. And Niederreiter continues to step up, man. The more I watch this guy, the more I'm excited about this contract that he's signed, man, because he just plays. Like, it's fun watching him. He never takes a shift off.
No.
He just pumps that team up. And it's great to see, and he's going to be here for a while. And Velarde got his first as a Jet on a beautiful tip there from Morrissey to the winning goal, basically, right?
Yeah.
So
that size and that speed, Velarde. Oh yeah, and he's back. I can't wait.
And we're going to need him. We're going to definitely need him.
Jets had a great week last week. They played Carolina, they played Colorado, and they finished off with Anaheim in the midst of a 4-game winning streak. Who do you have for star of the week?
I'm giving it to Josh Morrissey, who has just been steady back there on D. He's now up to 19 assists, 24 points, which is 7th among D. We thought we might see a drop off, and a lot of people were saying he's not going to be as good as he was last year. I think he's probably better, and even Scheifele was singing his praises today in an article about him. So goal and an assist against Colorado last week. I know everyone hates plus minus, but he was +4. I like that. I don't use it a lot either, but it's nice to see +4 in a game against Colorado. And then 2 assists last night and assisting on the winner. So solid week for him offensively, defensively. So Josh Morrissey for me.
Yeah, I know I dog analytics. Yeah, I'm that dude. I get it. That's fine. But when you give me a graph with like bars and a chart, I get it. And seeing the Jets game card with Josh Morrissey's bar all the way up to that, I understand. So I totally agree with you. He had a great week. He's just been a contributor on the offensive, defensive side. And shoot, I was one of those people who said, hey, I don't think he'll be as effective offensively. I always thought he'd be good. I think he'd still be in the the Norris running. But I just think that his points would go down, and prove me wrong. Please prove me wrong. Star of the week last week for me is Laurent Brossoit. I know he played one game, but that one game was huge, and I think it set the tone to continue the winning streak against a huge opponent. He played huge, 35 on 36 on even strength, 7 on 7 on the penalty kill, 42 out of 43 on that night. Not only was it a dominant performance, but hopefully it got LB out of that slow start that they had. And it definitely gave the club a boost. When you see your backup goalie going nuts like that, I'm sure Connor Hellebuyck was like, damn, all right, challenge.
Yeah.
Like, it's great. And I think it gave them a boost. And so I know it's one game, and I'm that type of guy that'll give someone player of the week for one game, and it'll be Laurent Brossoit.
Yeah, and it's definitely good to see, man, because then you got more confidence in the guy, and they got a back-to-back coming up here in the next 2 nights. So, is it tomorrow and Wednesday or Wednesday and Thursday? Can't remember now. Tuesday and Thursday. Yeah. So it'll be good. And he's obviously going to get one of those games, and he did it against a very good team in Carolina who outplayed the Jets. And like you say, 40 shots and a lot of great opportunities, right? So yeah, it's definitely good to see. Well deserved.
Let's talk about those upcoming games, Tuesday, Thursday. Sharks. What did the Jets got to do to beat the Sharks?
Just play their game, really, right? Not play down to the opposition. And I know we talked about the Jets were bad for that before, not so much this year, a bit better this year than that. So, I mean, obviously San Jose is the worst, one of the worst. Are they still the worst team in the league? Can't remember. I didn't even double check.
They're down there. They're 31 or 32 or 30,
score. They
whatever
give up a lot of goals. Yeah, the Jets just got to play their game, and they should be able to take this one.
They're 8-17-3.
Yeah, bet better 5-3-2 in their last 10. So,
well, they've got points in what, 7 of the last 8.
Yeah, so they have done better.
Sleep on them.
No,
they're not that X in the bingo card. Like,
but they should be like 9:30.
It's also a 9:30 start time.
Yeah, good old Cali.
California. That damn time zone thing, whatever. But they have to capitalize on the power play. Second worst PK in the league, 71.8. They got to get those shots on net, and they got to get some big player in front of the keeper. That's soccer. Yeah. Whatever. I don't care.
We know what you mean.
Talking about. Yeah, and they're a tough team. They just lost against the Knights in the shootout. They just beat the Islanders. They just beat the Red Wings, so they can't take them lightly.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they need to just come out. It's almost like the Anaheim game, right? They should be able to win. They should have been able to beat Anaheim. It was a lot tougher than they thought, but they should be able to beat San Jose. They just got to go out there and play, and hopefully, yes, maybe you can get this power play going, because if you can't get it going against the second worst power or penalty kill in the league, you're in trouble, and something's going to need to be done there, because the next night is a lot tougher.
Let's talk about the next night. Is it Tuesday, Wednesday, or is it Tuesday, Thursday?
Tuesday, Wednesday, back to back.
There we go. We figured out the dates. It's fine. I'm totally going to buy into the storyline of the 3 pickups from the trade against LA. Going to have a huge game now that they have more than 20 games under their belts. Well, sorry, barring injuries. Barring injuries, I think they've solidified their role on the team, and I think it'll be a tougher game for LA. And I think Hellebuck is on a roll, so I'm looking for the Jets to beat LA. Oops, we're not doing predictions. Sorry. Anyways, just go ahead.
This is going to be a very tough game for sure. LA beat them the first time pretty handily. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10. The Jets are 7-3. So clash of 2 of the hottest teams. Plus, you have the storyline of Gabe Vilardi coming back, not only to play his old team, but now you're playing against a guy that also injured you in Blake Lizotte.
Yeah,
Vilardi called him out also after that when he came back. So it'll be interesting. I could see maybe a couple fights happening in this game tomorrow night. Maybe Lowry's gonna have to drop the mitts and stick up for his buddy at some point. But LA's a good team. You know, talk about 2 polar opposites. San Jose gives up a lot of goals and can't score. LA's the other way around. They can score and they don't give up a lot in terms. And Cam Talbot, I don't know if he's going to be playing this game or not, but man, what a resurgent season for that guy. What is he? 931 save percentage, 191 goals against for Cam Talbot. You know, so it's crazy. LA's a good team.
Their defense is really good too, though.
Yeah.
Defense
for sure.
As a team, they play wicked team defense.
Yeah. You know what? They're only 5-4-3 at home, whereas they're 11-1 on the road. So maybe that'll help the Jets.
Yeah.
You know, and then you got PLD, who's had a disappointing season, and I think people in LA are already done with him.
He'll play a good game against the Jets, that son of a bitch.
He likes to pick and choose which game he's obviously going to play well in, right?
Yeah, I'll try tonight.
You're never getting every game with him. So
he's that guy.
Yeah, the LA penalty killer, again, polar opposite. That'll be tough because it's top or second in the league. So
I like to look back. I like to look back and see if anyone called this guy or compared this guy to Mario Lemieux back when he was being drafted. And I like to call those motherfuckers out. You're wrong. You're wrong.
Big time.
Because he's French and he's tall. Give me a break. Let's talk about something that you mentioned earlier, the Kyle Connor injury. If he's out long term, and we haven't gotten definitive yet, they're doing tests, I think, on Tuesday. Or I'm not sure. I'm not a reporter. I'm not going to bullshit you. I don't know what's going on. They'll find out what's going on soon. But what are the effects if he is out long term? If he is out long term.
Yeah, I mean, you're losing a guy who's got 17 goals, right? Who is also starting to get heated up again after not scoring in 5 or 6 games. So yeah, you're losing one of your leaders. You're losing a top line guy. So now you're going to need other guys to step up. Is it going to be like who comes in, right? Or who's going to bump up to the top 6? You know, I don't even know. Like, do you put Vilardi back up there and then you go Nemestikov?
Yes.
Back at center on line 2. Iafallo got bumped down. So
you bump him up.
Yeah, I think you do that for a bit and see how it runs, and then if not, you look at other options. But yeah, it's a big loss.
You might even need to move Niederreiter. You might even need to split up that third line in regards to spreading out the talent while Kyle Connor is gone. It's that huge of a loss. Like, we know that there is depth there, but we know that guys like Appleton and Iafallo cannot play at that level for a long period of time. At least we've At least that's what we can assume from what we've seen so far. It'd be great if, again, Appleton can slip in and play for, if Kyle Connor has gone for a long amount of time, if he can play on the second or first line and play at that level he was playing before. It'd be great if Iafalo can play on the first line level that he was playing before, but we saw them kind of trail off as well. So, that'd be trouble. They definitely have to bring in a vet. I don't think you can be. Some people are talking about bringing in Chibrasov or Lambert. Nah, no. Let them stay down there. They're gaining momentum. They're developing properly. Don't F up just bring up Tony Nato or someone else like that. They can bring on the fourth line and just move people up within and see what happens at least.
Yeah, you can definitely start there. But if he's out for a couple months and things aren't not working, or offensively it's not working, then you definitely have to look at those two guys on the Moose, Lambert and Chibrasov, because like you say, they've been having wicked seasons with the Moose right now. Still young, obviously. They're only 20, both of them. So yeah, you don't want to rush them too much, but it's either that or you're looking to trade market kind of thing. So
yeah.
Or you just get better defensively.
They still got to score goals. So yeah. You still got to score goals. I know you're not going to find one player to replace that, but you can definitely spread it out.
Yeah, and that's what you're going to need.
A way to do that.
They have the depth, so yeah, you're going to need all four lines to get going.
We're hearing word that your boy Shoveldale stayed in Philadelphia or whatever to watch a bit of hockey.
Denver. He stayed in Denver.
Denver, that's it. That's right. Yeah. Sorry, they play Colorado, and we're talking about Philly in a second. They might be sniffing around Philadelphia for a trade. Anyone on the Flyers that you think or would like to see on the Jets? Since you're a Flyer fan, you can go first.
I don't follow them as much as I used to, obviously, since the Jets came back. But just reading some of the articles, I think by Scott Billick, even of the Winnipeg Sun, he mentions Travis Konecny. And it's tough because I would love that guy. He's making 5.5 mil this year and next year, so it's kind of hard to squeeze him in unless Connor is going on the LITR, right? Or LTIR. Yeah.
There you go.
Whichever one it is. So, or if you can offload Schmidt somehow, right? Because then that contract. But then if you're somehow sending Schmidt to Philly for Konecny, you're probably giving up at least a first, right? To get Konecny plus Schmidt off the books. So he would be fantastic. I don't think that's going to work. Other guys I saw were Sean Walker, a defenseman from Philadelphia, but against me, a very good defenseman, or not very good, but playing very well this year. A solid guy, big guy. But to me, if they're going to make a move, I hope it would be for a forward.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to get Ristolainen.
I hope they don't, actually, because the guy's not been good, and he's got 4 more years at 5 mil. So that's.
Would you rather have Ristolainen's contract or Schmidt's contract?
Schmidt's right now, because he's done in 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Ristolainen's a 4 more years of that, and that the guy has never been. Talk about analytics, they hate him for sure. Yeah. So I think that contract is going to get even worse in a couple of years. So
he's an offensive defenseman.
Yeah, he's a big dude, right? So not the greatest defensively.
So is Logan Stanley. Yeah. I agree. Sean Walker would be a great pickup as a right shot defenseman. Definitely would upgrade the Jets. If you're looking for forward, and he's been on their list or the block for a bit or for recently, I don't know. Hathaway. I really like his style. I like his physicalness. It's great that Scheifele and Lowry will stand up for dudes, but it'd be great if someone else can do that on the third or fourth line, perhaps. But yeah, I like to have, and I think he brings a bit of grit. That would be nice to have in the line, especially come playoff time. So if anyone forwards wise, I'd like to see Hathaway.
Yeah, you definitely don't want Scheifele fighting too many times, right? And he's already fought, what's his name? Kachuk. Right.
Keep those hands safe.
Yeah, please. Exactly. We do not need him getting hurt at all either. So yeah.
No need. Jets fans, share your comments in the comment section below. Winnipeg Blue Bomber fans, CFL fans, share your comments in the comments below. Don't forget to check out our interview. You'll see who it is. Benny, you have anything to say to our friends?
Yeah, that interview is dropping in the next couple days for sure. Yeah. It was a fun one. It was a very good one. Good information in that one. And then we got another one coming up.
We were talking about DBs. Yeah. We were talking about DBs in Swaggerville. So I'll narrow it down for you there. Review the tape.
No more information.
Yes, that's fine. They already know what's Swaggerville. So I'm going to narrow it down to DBs. They got a week to think about it. But anyways, check us out. Follow us on YouTube. And from the famous words of Ed Whalen from Calgary Stampede Wrestling, In the meantime, and in between time, that's it. Another edition of Ray and Benny Talk Sports.
Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to check us out online on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Ray Benny Sports. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell us what you think.